Good day, dear viewers. I am Mr. Denver Combate, Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. Follow me, and together, let us learn what is the Cone of Experience by Edgar Dale. In order for us to learn what is the Dale's Cone of Experience, I would like to tell you a short story. Here is our character. His name is Jack. One day, Jack was tasked to write a paper about the things that he can remember from the previous academic years. The teacher said that it can be a simple discussion and lesson, to even the grandiose events. Jack was puzzled. What will I write? As his memories came in flooding. But in order for Jack to be able to write properly, he must first remember what are the events that occurred. He first remembered the on-field training that they did as a committee member in their organization. Then he wrote it. He then remembered that they created their own miniatures for a certain subject. Then he described it on the paper. He also remembered that he played the role of a rebellious child in a certain theater play the previous academic year. All of these things he remembered and wrote it on the paper. Let us halt here for a moment. Let's take a look at what Jack has written. Jack mentioned that he went on an on-field training, created a miniature, and played a role in a theater play. These activities goes hand in hand with the three bands at the base of the cone in the Dale's Cone of Experience. The direct and purposeful experiences, the contrived experiences, and the dramatized experiences. Direct purposeful experiences refers to the foundation of experiential learning, meaningful knowledge, and understanding the established through the use of senses. Hence the on-field training which involves the body and its senses. Contrived experiences refers to the models, miniatures, and mock-ups as representations in this category. There may be things or events that are beyond the learner's grasp, in which case, contrived experiences can serve as a substitute, hence the miniatures. Dramatized experience is when a learner is involved in an activity that requires participation for the reconstruction of an experience through role playing. All these experiences Jack remembered, for he learned it and experienced it by doing it firsthand. While writing the paper, Jack heard the teacher next door. He slightly looked from the outside and saw that the teacher is demonstrating how to use a microscope. He then remembered the time when their instructor from the academic tour demonstrated how to rappel down the tower properly. He then wrote his experiences during the trip and the things that he learned from the demonstration. Aside from the facts and information, he also beheld a magnificent sight when they arrived at the famous museum filled with artifacts. There are also studios where they present a short video explaining the history of the place. All these he then remembered and wrote it with a smile on his face. Now, once again, let us halt and analyze this part of Jack's paper. Jack mentioned that the instructor from the academic tour conducted a demonstration. Alongside that is a museum with lots of artifacts and a short video presentation. This falls in the middle bands in the cone of experience: the demonstration, study trips, exhibits, motion pictures, and recordings or audio. Demonstration refers to a set of instruction conducted by an instructor showing a process on how to do a certain activity, hence the rappelling demonstration. Study trips refers to the visiting of specific locations to observe that which is not available within the classroom, hence the museum. Exhibits refers to the models or displays, such as pictures or artifacts that conveys a message or provide information. This pertains to the artifacts in the museum. Motion picture refers to the two-dimensional reconstruction of reality, or in layman terms, a video, hence the presentation. And of course, Alongside that is the audio or the recording. All these things, the rappelling, the exhibits, and presentations he experienced through observation. He thought that the content of his paper is all about major events. He thought that adding some usual happenings, such as discussion of lessons, might be a breather for all of those he mentioned before are too blood pumping. And again, he can't seem to remember our previous lesson. But something caught his attention. A picture of a black bird. He then remembered their lesson last year. A lesson about poems. There, they read together a poem with the title The Crow, in which, after reading it, they proceeded in analyzing it by reading it once again. He remembers it vaguely, but one thing he knows is that he enjoyed reading it again and again. He then wrote this in his paper as the last part. Now, let us halt once more and look at Jack's finishing touch in his paper. Jack mentioned that he can't seem to remember the previous lessons that they tackled, but a certain picture reminded him of their lessons about poems and how they analyzed it by reading it once more. This last details is a perfect fit for the cone of experiences last two bands. The upper bands, which is text or verbal symbols, and visual symbols. Text or verbal symbols refers to scriptures, texts, and anything that involves words, symbols, codes, and many more. Hence, poem reading. Visual symbols pertains to a more esoteric representations, or in layman's term, picture. Hence, the picture of a bird. All of these Jack understood and remembered by thinking. But he did struggle a bit, for these are abstract concepts. Now, after writing the paper, Jack is like a child filled with excitement. He cannot wait to pass it as he most definitely knows that the teacher will like his work. And that is what the Dale's cone of experience is. Again, the Dale's cone of experience is a visual model in the form of a cone that shows learning continuum. From the base or lower bands that categorizes experiences with the most senses involved up to the upper bands that is filled with abstraction. It is designed like this, not because of the difficulty of the task, but rather the degree of abstraction and senses involved. So, basically, from concrete experiences to basic experiences. Now, did you learn anything regarding the Dale's cone of experience? Is the idea of the bands concrete to you now? Oh, before I forgot, perhaps you're wondering what happened to Jack's paper. Let us just take a brief look at how it went. Jack then presented his paper to his teacher with a smile on his face. His teacher, upon looking at Jack's paper, frowned and looked at him strangely and asked him, "Is this really your handwriting, Jack? It's unreadable." Jack then got slapped with reality. He forgot that his writing and penmanship is as morbid as hell. The end.